And welcome, everyone. I'm Bill Newell, along with Matt Williams and Nick Kukuru. Matt Williams from the Salem News, Nick from the Gloucester Times. Kind of a reduced staff here. No Nick Giannino, no Phil Stacey. Matt, I'm a little concerned about Phil. I mean, I know I kind of picked on him last week, but it's not related at all to that, right? I mean, I thought I was, just jesting a bit, having some fun, but maybe I was a little insensitive. Do you think that's possible?
No, I think he's absconded with the family to better weather than what we have here, Bill. I don't think I don't think he took it personally, but you never know. One never knows.
I mean, those remarks could have been so cutting that he now is spending time with his family. I mean, who knows, But
it could be true. Yeah, that's what they used to say. Yeah, every time you get rid of someone, right? They say he's, whenever someone steps down to spend more time with the family, they there's something below the surface, right? But no, this is not true. For anyone out there concerned, Phil is really, in fact, with his wonderful family there, the kids able to get away finally, as we all are, I think, at different times this year, right? It's because nobody was able to vacation much last year, so.
Or last week, as the case might be, whatever.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So there is some, I watched the weather. There is some possibility that the rain may stop in the next few days, but we'll see how that plays out. Gentlemen, let's begin. The top things on the local sports pages. Matt, you guys in the Salem News are running those All-Stars here for the month of July. Nick, you've been covering a lot of Little League stuff, so maybe let's touch on that with some Little League baseball. What can you share with us?
Yeah, I mean, the district rounds are over. We're over to the sectionals now, and it's 2 North Shore teams there. Danvers American out of 15, and is it Peabody West out of 16?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, that means 50-50 shot. One of the local teams will be around next week for the state finals tournament, but yeah, I did mostly District 15 last week with, Gloucester and Manchester-Essex in there. And, Danvers American kind of took care of both of them. I think it's safe to call it an upset win. They won 3 straight 1-run games, 4 straight elimination games to win the district. And I mean, it was pretty phenomenal, the performances that they put together. I mean, they held down Manchester-Essex offense, which was probably the most powerful offense in the district. They held them down, and then they held Gloucester down 2 nights in a row. It was pretty fantastic. The first night, Logan Travers was the story for Danvers. He struck out over 10 in his 5 innings of work, and they won 3-2 on a walk-off hit from Eli Tibbetts after a crazy 6th inning. And then the next night it was Damon Mataragas. He went 5 1/3. He didn't allow a run. Tyler Brown closed it down for a 1-0 Danvers win. It was they were out hit 8-1. Gloucester had 8 hits. Danvers had 1, but Danvers got the run in when they needed to. And they also made no errors in the field. Flawless defense was kind of the story. They threw out 2 runners at the plate, and they just seemed to come up with a web gem every time they needed it the other night. And you win 4 elimination games in a row, you've certainly earned it.
Geez, one out of Danvers, 1 run on 1 hit. I mean, at Danvers, Roger Day baseball is still alive in the town of Danvers, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Right. Yeah, it's incredible. The thing I in District 16 too, the Peabody West and Peabody played each other twice, and Peabody West won both games, and they were both 3-2 scores. And that's kind of the thing, similar to all those Danvers Gloucester games. Like, I've been surprised that the scores have been so low. Usually in these little leagues, you see the balls flying out of the yard, a lot of home runs. I don't know if it's the year off or maybe the weather. This is more like spring weather. They always joke that when the air lightens up and it gets hot in July at Fenway Park, right? That's when you see home runs. Well, this isn't home run conditions, right? So you wonder if that's what's going on. But I guess, at the sectionals, we're going to see a lot of great pitching because, to hold off these offenses from a lot of these teams, you got to be able to pitch. And the interesting thing is just the number of games, too. I mean, Danvers American has played 8 games and Peabody West has only played 4. So they've played twice as many games just because of the formatting and having to come out of that loser's bracket. So Danvers is certainly battle tested, which is going to make things probably an advantage for them, certainly over there. And it's nice that they're at Harry Ball Field too. You know, that's an advantage for Danvers. They're going to play those games at 5:30 and 7:30. So I know Peabody West has lights now. I imagine all these guys have played under the lights, but I mean, when Nick Kukuru and I were kids, that was like a big deal. You know, if you got to the state finals and you'd never played under the lights before and you lost a ball in the lights and that was how you got eliminated, you know. So that should be interesting too. The 7:30. We'll see if the year off has helped the Mosquitoes. Usually over there at Harry Ball, after about 7 o'clock, you know, if you don't bring bug spray, you're in trouble. So for all of our listeners that are headed over there, make sure you get some off there from Dick's Sporting Goods or perhaps one of our great sponsors.
Yeah, I can say from experience, they are out in full force. Those mosquitoes are there at Harry Ball, and they're prominent.
And I, you know, I'm not a whatever those. Let me move on. But with the mosquitoes, with the wet weather, isn't that the time when you get more mosquitoes because of all the wet weather we've had? I believe that's the case. So
probably
it's probably we're probably those mosquitoes will be on steroids with this water. I think, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
So,
but no steroids in the game because there's no home runs.
No, no, right? Because the mosquitoes are taking them all. Yeah. Well,
yeah, that could. You know what? That could be.
Well, that would be frightening to hear that, I guess. But
it would.
Any other Little League notes to share with us, men? That's enough. But I mean,
well, we've got the other interesting thing is the Little League softball. We've got Marblehead. Their 12-year-old All-Stars won the state title, and they're going to be playing in the regionals this weekend down in Bristol. So that's pretty cool. Good for them. I know. The past few years, Peabody has sort of been the big team in the youth softball circles, and so nice to see the wealth spread around a little bit. And good luck to those Marblehead girls that'll be going down to Connecticut next week to represent the state. That's pretty cool.
Will those games be on ESPN now that they're in Bristol?
I don't know, not yet. Perhaps not yet. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I know like when the 12-year-old boys get down there, sometimes they're on Nesson and whatnot, but I haven't seen the broadcast plans for the softball just yet.
Okay, sounds good. Speaking of Nesson, that shifts us over to baseball. What do we know about baseball draft? Matt, we talked about this last week a bit with the baseball draft, some local players involved with the baseball draft. We touched on a few of them, but are there some players that you guys are watching or you watched in the last week or so on the baseball draft from the North Shore?
We did have a local guy, Shane Smith from Danvers, signed he wasn't drafted, but he decided to sign a free agent deal with Milwaukee. So that's pretty cool. I mean, a guy that only had 3 shortened seasons of college baseball. You know, his first year he hurt a knee, I believe it was, and his second year was healthy, ready to bear. Of course, they played about 4 games, and then COVID hit. They canceled everything. And his third year, he ended up hurting his arm. He actually has had surgery, but Milwaukee says, we don't care. You're going to heal up and you're going to be fine, and we're going to give you enough money to make you leave school. So that's pretty cool. I mean, you know, a guy that was a top 300 prospect in the country coming out of Governor's Academy when he was in high school, went to Wake Forest and had kind of a wonky career just because of the circumstances. You know, I think Wake would have been a really, really good team, you know, certainly 2 years ago. And unfortunately it got cut off by COVID and, you know, but still able to turn pro. I mean, that's pretty cool. A lot of people in Danvers remember playing him when he was in Danvers American, and, you know, great guy, great family, did great in baseball and football there at Govs. So, you know, a lot of happy people on the North Shore to see Shane moving on. And I guess he'll be spending time with Sal Frelick at the spring training facility for them, right? He went to Milwaukee too. So that's kind of cool. 2 guys with connections to the area on the same pro team.
Yeah, you got to wonder about Milwaukee drafting from this area, but they're good for them, you know, so that's great.
If they got a connection or something, it'll come out. Somebody had a cousin or something, you know.
Maybe it has to do with Pat Connaughton. Who knows? In the
could be
Milwaukee Bucks.
Could have sent them this way. You never know.
Nick, any other topics that you want to touch with us? I mean, I got a couple here more, but anything you want to go to here?
No, not particularly. I mean, no, my pages have been dominated by Little League the last couple weeks. So,
No, I hear you. Hey, Matt, you did a story the other day. Actually, I think it was in Monday's paper. I think as we record this on Monday, was that with runner Heather McLean, a Peabody native. Maybe you can tell us a bit about that. But it reminds me, the stories where we're still not out of this COVID piece. For the most part, we've been able. The last few months have been pretty good with the local sports scene and getting games in and moving forward from the way it was last year at this time. But you got to feel for some of these athletes. A couple of athletes have tested, or at least one I remember reading, tested positive for the virus, and now they're out of the Olympics just like that after all these years and years of training. It just seems like, that how heartbreaking that must be for an Olympic-bound athlete.
Oh, it's terrible timing, right? I mean, and you wonder, like, if, everybody's got their shot, like they're probably only being tested because of the games and may not even be sick, and I mean maybe false or whatever. I mean, this isn't missing week 6 NFL game, right? This is their whole life. This is not, it's not like you can come back for the end of the season, like that. This is it. So your heart certainly breaks for anybody that's affected by that. I mean, it's crazy. Some people wondering why they're playing at all, but I can tell you just from spending time with the Olympians that we know from our area, right? I mean, because it's so important to them, it's not like everybody that wants to be in the games is LeBron James or Michael Phelps. I mean, there's a lot of everyday kind of down to earth people that this is all they have. So I'm glad they're doing it. Certainly, I'll be looking forward to watching as much as I can on TV. That's for sure. It's always fun, the Olympics, because, they just seem like they're normal people, right?
Yeah. Maybe not quite normal, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. No,
tell
exactly.
Tell me about Heather McLean. Tell me about her.
Well, so she's only 25. She's going for the very first time in the 1,500 meters, which is a little bit less than a mile, for those out there. And, she appeared at the distance running camp last week just to say hello to the kids. And, these were high school age kids, grades 8 through 13, I guess. There were some college kids, and just to, say hello, take some pictures. It was very, the looks on the kids' faces to get to meet like an Olympian, because she's been out of school for a while. None of them really ran with her or anything, but they all know her. The coaches talk about her and whatnot. So it was just kind of cool, moment just to give back and, get to meet some of the people that looked up to her and give some advice. And I think it means a lot to kids to hear advice from someone that's that young, right? I mean, that's really, they can picture being in their shoes. It's different hearing from a parent or a coach, hearing from someone that's only 25, like, and is on TV and stuff. Like, I think that carries a lot of weight with kids. So that was pretty cool, very down to earth, very humble kid. Just really the type of kid that you want to root for, and as we've talked about, like, was not a super duper star runner in high school, and now is in the Olympics. I mean, that's pretty cool story. As stories go, it just makes you feel good.
It's funny. It was just a week or two ago, we were talking about the Peabody track program, the historic Peabody track program at the high school, the winter and spring track, cross country as well, whether it be George Smirnios years ago, Phil Sheridan, or Fernando Braz, currently the head coach over there with the track program at Peabody High. But when you hear Peabody track and Olympics, you're just not surprised, because that's the kind of caliber program they've had over there over the years. Just outstanding runners have come out of there.
Well, that's the amazing thing that this kid is the first one, that really ran in high school in the shadow of other people, and she's the first one. And, I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure if she has any school records over there, which is crazy when you think about it. Cause like you go down to Marblehead and Shalane is still on all the record boards, right? Like nobody's run faster than Shalane. But you go to Peabody and I'm not sure that she even has an individual school record, which is like, that's how far she's come and how, improbable the story is, which is just, I mean, that's not a dig on her. That's a credit,
So if it's the 1,500 meters she's running, right? Is that what you're saying, Matt?
Correct.
Yeah. So now I know you're a runner, Matt. So let's just say that you and Heather McLean were going head to head through the streets of Peabody. I mean, who would win that? I mean, I'm just curious.
Not me. I don't think really. She does a mile in about 4 minutes. I aim for about 8. So she probably finished 2 before I got done with 1. I don't know about you guys.
Let me do the math on that. Yeah, you're right. She would win that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But all right, sounds good. Let's see here. Matt, anything else you mentioned? I know we touched on the All-Stars last week, and you got a bunch of things coming up. And I know lacrosse was front and center the last few days in the Salem news, but you did softball, I think, started it all off last week, and so on. So still another week or 2 of All-Stars in the Salem news.
One thing I did notice was the golf. I don't know if there were any Gloucester guys in any of this golf stuff, Nick. I know the kid from St. John's, Chris Francoeur, finished in the top 4 at the Mass Am last week, which is just a grueling endurance, golf. I mean, you play, I think it's 2 rounds of stroke play and then, a lot of rounds of match play, 2 a day. I mean, it's like 150 holes of golf in 3 or 4 days. And one of the Emmerich brothers, Aiden, is off to the junior U.S. junior amateur in Pinehurst. So that's pretty cool. I know him and his twin brother Christian are both tremendous golfers. I think they're twins. If they're a year apart, I would have to apologize. Kind of filling in for Nick Giannino here. But summertime's always golf time. I don't know if the Turners or if there's anything going up there, Bass Rocks or whatever, Nick, but there's been some good golf in the last week or so too.
Yeah. Mark Turner from Gloucester, that he was one of those. There was like a 23 player playoff or something for 8 spots in the final cut line, and he was on the wrong end of that playoff. But so he was, he had one of the top 32 scores, but there were 50 players that had the top 32 scores, so he was on the outside of that playoff. But yeah, I mean, that's always a good term. I love how they go to match play and they make you go 36 holes to win it. It's you really got to earn that one.
Absolutely, it's like that's a grind. I mean, they say they're amateurs, but you got to be in like professional shape. I mean, by the time Saturday rolls around, I'd feel like I was ready to drop.
We should have brought Mike Grenier in here today to talk about Pat Connaughton and the Milwaukee Bucks.
His favorite.
Yeah, but Matt, do you want to share any updates on that? Any thoughts? I know we discussed that a bit last week.
Well, they're 1 game away, right? I've been sort of watching it tangentially. I think is that right? Phoenix was up 2-0 and Milwaukee's won 3 in a row.
Yeah, they're up now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty incredible. The momentum shifted really fast, and that's very very interesting. I think I read, and this may not be true, so don't quote me on it, but I read that I think it's been like 50 years since a team has won 3 in a row in the finals and not won the championship. So things look pretty good for Milwaukee. I mean, it's, first they win the title, then they get Connaughton, then they get Freelick, then they get Smith. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is all just karmic payment for when they lose Aaron Rodgers in a couple of weeks. I don't know.
Yeah. And
if Tom Brady went over there, they would have clinched it by now, like every other team that he goes to.
Plus, I was thinking about this the other day too. Plus, they're back in the National League. I know that didn't just happen. The Milwaukee Braves were in the National League, then they moved to Atlanta, right? And so now the Brewers went from the American League over to the National League. So they're back in the National League too. I know that's totally not related to what we were talking about. I get that piece, but whatever.
I support tangents.
Yeah. Okay. It's a stretch. I get it. But so, we'll just keep an eye on Milwaukee here. Things are happening there for sure. And the Brewers actually aren't doing that badly. I think I shouldn't say that again without checking, but I thought I looked at that the other day.
I think they lead the NL Central actually.
Yeah. They're right there. Yeah. Ahead of the Cubs. I know that. So whatever. Gentlemen, anything? Yeah. Let me ask you about the Red Sox. So the Red Sox came down to earth the last couple of nights, thanks to some rain on Saturday night, and it's just going to happen. But baseball is one of those sports where the Yankees lose all these players due to the virus. You think, well, if Red Sox streak is to continue, they couldn't have asked for a better scenario, I guess. But now they lose 2 straight games. They're taking on the Blue Jays in Buffalo this week at the Jays home away from home, if you will. But obviously, the Red Sox have had a pretty good first half of the season.
Yeah, I'm still not really worried about the Yankees, to be honest with you. I don't think Tampa Bay is going anywhere, though, all season, especially, Glasnow comes back. But, I mean, I still think the Sox are in good shape. I think they should win the AL East, at least make the wild card. But, they're in a bit of a hitting slump right now. They haven't been swinging the bats very well the last, 2 or 3 series. And, I think they'll snap out of that. They'll be right in there. This comes from a guy who thought they'd win 78 games this season. Now I'm super confident that they're going to make the playoffs.
It's just crazy, the wild swings. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like floored, but when you think about how bad they were last year and how good they've been this year, and it's largely the same guys. I mean, you had a couple pitchers and a couple bench bats, but I mean, the heart of the order is the same, and just the difference that a year makes, and the difference potentially that a manager makes, just in terms of getting these guys engaged and having them take it professionally and take it seriously. It's really amazing to see. I mean, I'm one of those people that usually thinks a coach doesn't really matter in any sport except for football. But these guys are certainly proving us wrong when it comes to the difference that Cora is making for them.
It is an interesting, I think about that. I've been thinking about that a lot, obviously, in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I'm not too much, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? But, the role of a manager, because I agree with you, Matt, sometimes it seems like it's a little overrated, but yet on the other hand, I think there are intangibles to coaching. There's more than just making out the lineup card and what we get on a manager for not pulling a pitcher fast enough or pulling them too soon or doing all of those kind of changes, not putting a left-hander in when the pitchers change or right-hander or whatever, go the left-right thing. But in this case, somehow, Cora's got another intangible here that, it's far beyond that apparently he's able to communicate with players in a way that, they're having fun again as a team. They, even I didn't watch too much last year with the way things were going. It was just hard to watch, but, you'd like to watch a team have fun. You know what I'm saying? No matter what level it's at, they're having fun.
Well, Devers, he's obviously reached Devers. He's back to his old self. And, Betts isn't really doing much out in LA without him. I mean, I know Betts had a pretty good year in the short year last year, but this year he's on his yo-yo again. He, back down. And you talk about the Yankees. I mean, this is going back 4 years, but, talk about the importance of the manager. It seems like they've gone the way of the dodo bird since they got rid of Girardi. I mean, 2017, the Red Sox had a lousy manager and the Yankees had a good one, and the Yankees wiped the floor with them. And it seems since the Red Sox got Cora and, the Yankees got rid of Girardi, that it's gone completely the other way. So maybe it does matter more than we think it does. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jury's out. Nick?
I mean, I like the way that they're kind of, I hesitate to call them an old school style team, but I just kind of hate the teams nowadays. The Yankees are kind of the poster child for it. Walk, home run, strikeouts. Mm. We saw in 2018 when the Red Sox won, they kept the Yankees and the Dodgers in the ballpark, and, they didn't really give them a ton of trouble because of that. And I like how the Red Sox can put runners on base, actually put pressure on the defense a bit, and, kind of find more ways to score runs than just hitting it over the shift.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got a lot of doubles. That's what I like. That's why I always like Manny Ramirez, because he hit a lot of home runs, but he could also hit doubles. I mean, they got, I'm looking at the stats right now. They got like 6 guys with at least 20 doubles. I mean, Enrique Hernandez has 20 doubles, for crying out loud. I mean, I'm not sure I would have seen that coming.
Guys go the other way too. I mean, guys just, hit it where it's pitched. There's a lot more of that these days. So that's a great thing to see in baseball. Gentlemen, anything else Matt, one last question. Did we talk about the hockey draft? I don't think we did, right? I thought we thought about it, but any thoughts on the hockey draft, the expansion draft coming up?
Yeah, we've got so I guess every team has to protect the players and whatnot. And so Colin Blackwell from St. John's Prep and Andover, North Andover there, he was not protected by the New York Rangers after his first season there. Had a much better season, I think, than anticipated for New York. He just got picked to play in the World Championships for Team USA, and he won a medal there internationally, during the Stanley Cup playoffs. So certainly a potentially intriguing guy if you're looking for a cheap character forward. Phil will be able to tell us more about the internal machinations when he returns next week, but definitely something to keep an eye on when the Kraken make their picks. I guess I don't know how this works because it's not like a real draft. I don't think they have a clock or whatever. I don't know if they're gonna sort of reveal them on TV and try to make like a TV show out of it or whatever. But certainly something to keep an eye on the local landscape there. Can't say I was too surprised by much of anything the Bruins did in regards to the expansion draft. Didn't seem like many choices there. Everything for them was kind of a foregone conclusion.
Gotcha. Well, gentlemen, why don't we end it right here? I think you've said enough, both of you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Great stuff as usual. And you guys, looks like we could have some sunshine in a few days. Let's hope for that. And we'll talk again soon.